it's Emmy.
And Felice.
And we are here with our podcast.
Now You See.
Yay! So, one of the many things that make me feel seen is when someone does something within my love language. If you're not too familiar with the different love languages, we're going to be talking about 5 specifically. So one is words of affirmation. The second one's physical touch. Third one's quality time, so spending quality time with someone. And then 4 is gift giving. And 5 is acts of service.
I think there's a 6th one.
Is there? Am I missing something?
Food.
How could I possibly forget about food? Okay, let's get into that. So tell me a bit about your love language over food. I mean, I think it's mine too, but like
I think in general food it's the way we can communicate with each other across all languages, across all cultures. If something is delicious, we get it. We understand. Everyone has that face that they make when something is good, especially when someone makes me a meal, like anyone, regardless if you're a top chef or you're just trying something out for the first time, you decided to take the time out of your day to make something for someone else. So for me, I guess the reason I say food is my love language is because it encompasses 3 out of the 5 you just mentioned, which is quality time, acts of service, and gift giving, right? Because the food is in itself a physical gift. You're spending time, quality time, making it and with the person, and you're serving them food, like literally act of service.
Yeah, and I didn't actually really think of it that way until now. Like, it's so true where it's like, yeah, you're receiving the gift, but it's more than just like going out and buying a gift and giving it to someone, like it's the amount of effort it takes to make the food and then like eating it with the person, or even like sharing something new and being like, here, like, maybe they like it, or like even making their own favorite food. So I just feel like there's so much work that goes into it. Not to say that buying gifts doesn't require any kind of effort or thought, but like I just feel like food is just so different. I imagine like the reason you bring this up is because I'm pretty sure your household
I got some good food.
Yeah. In my culture, like I kind of feel like cooking, like for my mom, like that was like huge on her, like where she would like cook these meals and cut fruit and stuff. Like it was just like always like that was her way of showing how much she cared. And it's like my grandma too, she would also like slave away, cook. And so like I feel like in a lot of Asian cultures it's just so like food is just so important.
Yeah, it's the cornerstone. I actually grew up and I absolutely love the smell of sauteed onions and garlic. It's such a homing smell because I think that's kind of the basis of a lot of Filipino cooking, is a lot of, sauteed onions and garlic. Like it's the premise of like adobo, which is a very common dish as well. And I remember my mom she'd have all 4 burners going. There's something being chopped, there's something being washed. I have no idea what's going on. Within like 30 minutes to an hour, dinner is served. And it's really magic. If you think about it, it's a magic trick, because most magic tricks, the reason they're magical is because they happen instantaneously. But food, like creating something out of nothing or creating something out of little to nothing, is essentially magic.
Yeah, and like I agree with that so much, and I always like find it so sweet, like just kind of looking back to like with my family. Like I remember sometimes I would tell my mom like, oh, I'm craving buntang, or I'm craving bunryu, and I would always say things like that, and then my mom like the next day,
it's made.
Yeah, like ingredients, shopping bags, and she would like make it. Like, so yeah, I feel like I miss those times so much too, because like, oh my gosh, like I miss my mom's cooking, not gonna lie. And
yeah,
it's something I kind of carried with me because funny enough, like after like right before filming this, I actually like cooked a meal for
us,
my partner, and
for us.
So like, yeah, I think I just kind of carried on like this love for like, oh, let me cook for people, especially because like I get so many ingredients, I can't finish everything, so I'm just like, let me cook for you. Like, so.
Are you also the type? Because I never learned how to properly make a single serving of anything. I think, do you know what I'm saying? I feel like, I wonder if other Asians have this problem, because anytime I learned from my mother's cooking, it was always for a family of 5, because that's what we were. It was 2 parents and 3 kids. And so all I consider is like, this is the amount of food I need. So when I started cooking by myself in college, I would have so much food left over because I was like, oh, this is for a family, not just for me.
That is so funny. I didn't think about that. That is like so true. It's like when our parents are cooking, it's like they're thinking about the family, not just themselves. I mean, collectivist culture right here. But
100%.
God, that makes me laugh. That is so fun.
So that's why when you were saying, I was like, I have all these ingredients and I don't know what to do with them. I was like, well, let me just feed my partner and my friend. And I was like, this is literally an Asian household. Like,
We learned to cook for a village, apparently.
yeah, and it's one of those things I didn't realize. I think there was a period of time back in college, funny enough, my roommates and we all cooked, but I think I was the main cook, and they liked that because they're like, Felice cooks well. And I think I worked at a restaurant with my other roommate, and then the other roommate worked at a winery. So we were always just slinging food, talking. At the end of the day, there was one day we all came home. I brought my roommate Antonio home, and my roommate Jessica came home. We came home around the same time. It was silent. No one said anything because all of us were done talking for the day. And I started to, just cook in the kitchen. I was making adobo. I had some rice and like a salad on the side.
So good.
Yeah, I think they were both on the couch watching something, and then I broke the silence after a solid hour. We had been home for a solid hour. None of us had said anything to each other.
Dang.
And I popped my head out, and I was like, y'all want to eat? And they look over and like, yeah. And then as we're like eating, then we finally were like, so how was your day? Like, how'd it go? And then, we kind of discussed what had happened and how difficult that was. But, we shared it over a meal collectively. And it's moments like that where it's like, that's why I consider food a love language, because it brings people together. It gets them to open up. And it's so quintessential of like, we were roommates, but that was family in its own, like family and community. And we were able to share, break bread literally and figuratively over, a meal, and just kind of be there for each other and see each other.
Yeah, like, it's interesting, like, you raising that point of just, like, nobody was talking until
the food at the table.
Food at the table, because now you guys are in proximity with each other, and not that you had to talk, but it just, like, kind of brought you to conversation. Someone said this, and it makes so much sense. It's like, when someone eats, there's, like, a part of their, like, reptilian brain that's, like, maybe hypervigilant or anxious or something. It kind of calms them down, because in order for them to, I think it was that it calms them down because, like, for you to eat, that means that you're not in danger. It's kind of like an animalistic kind of thing where it's like, they let their defenses, guards down when they're eating, because that's when it's safe to eat. Otherwise, like, most prey, they'd be like, they're not going to eat yet.
Yeah, they're not gonna eat if they don't feel safe.
Exactly.
So
they're going to, like, prepare to run. Yeah, I don't know. That was just something that I kind of wanted to share.
It also brought up for me, like, crafty on set. Like, you remember good crafty. You know what I'm saying? Like, you remember when something's, like, amazing. I was on set recently for a commercial, and, they had breakfast provided in the morning, which I didn't know that was a thing. Hot breakfast. Lunch was also fantastic. But during the day, there was, like, this giant station of snacks you could grab, and there was a woman manning it. She had music playing while, like there's a little lounge area, and then she had snacks behind her. I think they're like the high-end snacks, but you could ask for anything, as she just wanted to hand them out. And then additionally, she was also making teas and coffees, like a full barista. This was crafty, and I was like, this just upgraded my experience beyond this production, because not only did they feed me, they fed me well. And like, being treated well, especially with food, it brings out the part of you that's like, oh yeah, I want to work harder. I want to do more things. I want to work with you again.
Yeah, and I think, like, you raise a good point, like, bringing that up, because I feel like good crafty also can boost the morale of, like, the cast and crew. And this is why, like, I just feel like food just brings people together. 100%. Like, that whole meaning is 100%. That, yeah, because, like, if you have good crafty, like, if you did not, like, cheap out on it, like, it's actually, like, solid food and stuff, like, it definitely motivates people to work harder. It makes people also kind of feel like, I want to come back to this set. I remember, like, that was really good. I mean, aside from, like, just being treated respectfully, like, I'm sure, like,
that's part of it as well.
That's right? Part of it as well, but hey, good crafty, that's important.
I mean, some people remember sets for different reasons. I remember the food. I'm not gonna lie. I remember the food. I do remember how I've been treated. But if I was already being treated well, and there was good crafty, ooh, please hire me again. Like, let's go.
Like, it's a good time.
It's a great time over here.
Yeah, and I just kind of want to bring it back to, like, just, like, with food being, like, a love language. It's kind of funny. Like, it took me the longest time to realize this. Food has kind of become, like, it's my dad's love language. And I think it's, like, my sister's love language then, too. So, it took me a long time to realize that that's how my dad showed care, because like for me, words of affirmation, like we ain't doing that. Like, gosh, it was not, like just we didn't really like validate each other or say anything, or like, that was just not part of our language and our household. But like my dad, he would, and to this day, he still goes out and buys food. Like he'll go get like pâté chaud. It's like this little like Vietnamese meat pastry. It's so good.
Oh, but sorry, I just realized what those were and I got excited.
Yeah, it's so good. And then he'd just be like, okay. And then the next day he's like out early in the morning grabbing all the food. Like that's just his way of showing me that like he cares. And I think he likes to receive the same thing, because I would go buy him milk tea and I would buy pastries for him or sandwiches, and he'd be like, "Ooh, thank you!" Like he'd get excited, and like, and it's funny because I think like that kind of carried on to my sister. There was a time a couple years ago I was like severely depressed, like something had happened to me. I was on the phone with her and I just told her like I haven't eaten anything, and it was like 3 or 4 o'clock or something like that. Like it was late, and I said I haven't eaten anything. I just been crying all morning and afternoon. And my sister said, "You know what? I'm gonna send sushi to you." She literally sent me sushi at my favorite sushi place. Like she just sent that to me because one, she knew I would feel too guilty to like, like I would not be able to pass it over because one, I love sushi, and two, like she knows like I would not want to waste the sushi. So like she kind of like was very smart about it. But like, yeah, she like sent that to me, and I just feel like that kind of, I think that memory has always stuck to me as just like, wow, this is like her love language. I can see that.
Yeah, and I love that you brought this up because I think collectively, in a lot of ways, like my siblings and I kind of behave the same way with each other when we go out to eat and do things. Like my brother just took me to this new ice cream place called Perlas. It just opened in Glendale. It's small business owned, family owned, Filipino owned, and they have great flavors with buttercream based ice cream. My brother he brought a pint for us home, and so we had dinner as a family, and he was like, "Oh, try this ube one, and we all like took a spoonful. We're like, "Oh my god, this is so good." To the point too where he was just like, "I think we need to get more ice cream," and I was like, "Let's go now," and he's like, "Let's go now," and we legitimately, my niece with like 12-year-old niece and my brother and I just drove to Glendale at like 9 o'clock at night to get ice cream, and then we came back, and then again all of us collectively took a spoonful from the new pint that we got, which was the brown butter peely, and it was like, this is so tasty and so good, and it was just kind of a way to connect with each other, different generations, right? Because my mom, my sister, my brother, my niece, my nephew, and like my brother-in-law. And the funny thing is, like you mentioned how your dad got you your favorite food. My mom likes to cook our favorite food for us. So my brother-in-law, his name is Matthew Woodward, and he's as white as he sounds. And I add that because, different cultures cross-sectionally, but it's to the point Matt has been with our family for so long that I consider him Filipino. I don't even see the fact that he's white because he knows so much about the culture. He's been with us in the Philippines. He's eaten a bolot, which if you don't know what that is, it's the duck egg thing from the Philippines. Good. It's delicious, but people think it's a sacrilege, which we get. But he loves this dish called caldereta, which is our version of like a beef stew. It's got really slow cooked beef in this delicious brown sauce, potatoes, carrots. It's similar. I think you have a beef stew in Vietnamese. Yeah, so I think they're really close. I think just our stew's a little bit thicker in the sauce, but it's that same really delicious beef flavors. It's homing, it's comforting. You serve it with a baguette, we serve it with rice. And he asks for it, and anytime he asks for it, my mom makes it immediately, like without question, without fail.
Oh my god!
Without fail, and I was like, he's not even Filipino. Like he's Filipino because I think he's Filipino, but like he's not even Filipino. But that's how much like that family love of sharing food goes. And like when we had dinner the other night, my sister and brother-in-law brought treats from a place in Sherman Oaks because they live in the west side. So they were like, "Oh, have you been to this place?" And so they brought 6 different types of cookies for us to kind of like break and share and stuff. And again, it's a way for us to like rate a cookie because we sat there doing a food review as a family, like, "Oh, this cookie's got some really good salt. This coffee muffin doesn't taste like coffee. Oh, this one is like guava something something." So Yeah, it's a great way to kind of bring people together. And again, it kind of brings your defenses down, because if someone hands me something delicious, oh my gosh, like, or even if it's something like a small treat, like you said. I think one time my friend, he was coming over because we were going to an event later that night, and he was like, hey, I'm at Robex, do you want me to grab you a smoothie? And I was like, yes, please, dear God, grab me a smoothie. And then he comes over, gives me the smoothie, I take a sip, and you know when you have been drained and depleted and you needed like a little bit of sugar to get you through? I took one sip and my body did something, I didn't realize what it did, and then I made a noise, and he's like, is it hitting? And I was like, oh, it's hitting. It's hitting 100%. And so I think food is just, I think you love yourself with the way you eat, right? Like you want to give yourself healthy ingredients, stuff that's made fresh, nutrient dense stuff, but also in the act of giving it and serving it and sharing it is also really part of love and sharing love and spreading love.
Growing up, like, I kind of feel bad because my mom doesn't cook as much anymore just due to her own health issues. But like when, you know, like I was much younger and she was too, like, oh my God, I think she was like cooking like every single day. Like she was cooking every single day. And I remember being a spoiled little brat. Like there were certain times I was like, no, I don't want to eat that. Like, I think like I just grown up to like just appreciate someone cooking for me.
Yeah.
Because honestly, like I could do takeout, but takeout isn't always the healthiest. And yeah, like I like buying food every now and then, but just like there's something so comforting about a home cooked meal. And I do kind of miss like my mom cooking and stuff like that, because I do feel like now I'm like, man, I took it for granted. And like there was a certain time when I moved from San Jose to LA in 2024 where I actually ended up learning how to cook several like Vietnamese dishes because like I realized that I was doing that because it was my connection to home, because I was like homesick and I was really missing home. It just reminded me of like my mom and like my family and stuff. So yeah, gosh, I guess like this is a podcast of food, not even love language. It's like, no, food is the love language.
Food is the love. My love language is food, and I've said that to many people over time. It's like, Emmy knows this about me. You've actually cooked for me more than I've cooked for you, but like I still love to cook for people. I'd love to have people over and just kind of feed them things, because I like to come up with fun combinations. I'm very arm's reach cooking, of like whatever is within arm's reach is what I'm going to use. Like I'm not going to try to go out of my way to buy very specific ingredients. Like I'm going to make do. But yeah, so it's the whole thing of like food is also a privilege to have. Being able to cook with fresh ingredients and do things, and it's something that I don't take for granted, because eggs are expensive right now as well. Seriously. Like I used to bake a lot. You know this about me. I'm a big baker, but one, it's too hot to bake, and two, it's, you know, if I'm paying this much for a dozen eggs, I might as well just buy cookies. Like if we're at that rate, I'm like, I might as well just buy the cookie. And I know plenty of great bakers and bakeries, so I would rather support the specialists. Not that I'm not a specialist, but I'm like, if it comes down to enjoying a cookie, I don't have to home make it myself. We can go, other people will do it. And we love them for that, because then we get to enjoy what they made. And it's a nice big circle of life moment that we're having. Yeah. But yeah, so going back, it's food and sharing it is just something that I enjoy so much, and it's something that we kind of got together on. I think most friend dates that I've ever been on have usually been around a meal, because, you know, as much as movies and going out and having experiences are great, I think the easiest one is like, oh, like, what do you like to eat? What are your favorite things to eat? And I love meeting other Asian people because they like eating Asian food.
Yeah, it's like kind of interesting too, because like we're spending quality time, but also like sometimes like she'll point out like a cool restaurant to check out, and then on the flip side, I'm over here like introducing her to some new Vietnamese food. So like I always thought that was kind of interesting. It's like this like cultural exchange kind of thing going on. So I love that. I will say, I think growing up, like thinking about it, I think I was like a huge like quality time person. Like that was like my love language for the longest time, was quality time. And yeah, like I think like that was like the way I wanted to receive and give. But I think over time I started to become like, you know, a little leaning more towards like acts of service, gift giving. And I think the gift giving is because of like my dad and my sister a bit. But I think like now that you say that food is the sixth love language, I really do think that it's
it doesn't get enough. I mean, food gets plenty of screen time. We have plenty of reality TV shows, cooking shows, the rest of it, but I think it deserves its own category. There's probably also multiple other love languages that we haven't covered, but of the 5 main ones, I feel like food could be added as a 6th one. And it has a solid space of being a contender for the 6th place.
And I think, like, again, like, just, like, with my upbringing, I think that, like, quality time, that would just, you know, it's not that I didn't spend time with my parents, but, like, it's just more, like, I think, like, you know, like, I feel like the time that we spent together wasn't really, like, much communication. It was just kind of, like, enjoying a meal, which is funny because, again, it goes back to freaking meals. Like, every time I went out with my parents, it was always for food.
I love this because every time we continue, you're like, epiphany.
Yeah, it's just like, oh my God, it's just always food.
I've learned so much about you today and so much about food that I want to try now. I was like, we need to go out to eat. We just ate and now I want to go out to eat. What is wrong with me? I have like another stomach in here that's just ready for more Asian food.
It's more for like maybe the space in your heart. You're just like,
it's now another stomach.
I know, it's now become another stomach.
Well, you know, they're both vital organs in the body, so why not? They share the same space inside me. They should share that. Regardless of that, this has been so fun. Thank you for teaching me about the love language and then sharing your love of food and those stories. I felt very seen, like, listening to you talk about your family and, you know, the differences in, you know, how your dad showed love versus your sister and, like, being there for you with sushi. Like, that was beautiful. I was just like, I'm depressed, and I was like, sushi, yes, of course. I'm not, like, I automatically felt better. I'm not even depressed.
Right? It's just like, oh my gosh. So, okay, funny thing is that, honestly, like, 2 days ago,
oh boy,
I was like on the bed with Ramel, and he tried to look something up on his phone. He dropped his phone on my face, and I got so upset. I was just like, here, I'll treat you to like boba.
honestly, that would work. There's a lot of things, because in general, and this is a side tangent, a lot of the times when at least my Asian mother wanted to apologize with me, it was with food. So him wanting to get you boba for a slight phone slap in the face is...
I mean, he did apologize, but he also felt very bad as I was like writhing in pain and just doing this on the bed.
Honestly, a phone, you don't realize how heavy that thing is in your hand all the time until it hits you in the face.
Yeah, and it was the corner of the phone that hit me right here.
No.
That's how I was like, ow!
Oh no. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm imagining, because I've dropped my own phone on my face, and then you just feel like dumb because you're like, oh, it hit me, and then it's the worst part of your phone case just slapping you in the face. It's the worst feeling ever, but this has been great. I hope you've enjoyed our exchange of stories. Let us know what your love languages are.
Yeah,
whether it's food,
comment.
whether it's words of affirmation, whether it's or maybe there's another one we didn't even mention. Tell us, because I'm curious if there's something that we know that doesn't exist, or it does exist but we don't know.
Thanks for watching.
Yeah, we'll see you next time.
See you next time.
See you. Bye.
Far from the hustle and bustle of the city.